Creating a positive school climate and safe classroom environments where students feel connected to a caring adult can begin with the simple act of acknowledging appropriate behavior. In the following materials, we will learn more about the low-intensity strategy of using behavior-specific praise. Using praise statements is most likely a part of every teacher's repertoire of behavioral strategies and is a readily available classroom resource. The form of praise that has been proven to be most effective is behavior-specific praise, or praise statements that include reference to the specific behavior for which the student is being recognized. Behavior-specific praise statements are statements that praise the student and clearly state what desirable behavior has been performed, such as, "Bob, great job showing your work on your math homework," or "I like the way you pushed in your chair as we got ready to go to lunch." That keeps the walkway safe. Behavior-specific praise can be used to acknowledge the appropriate behavior of an individual student or multiple students engaging in academic and non-academic tasks. It is a simple and effective strategy that is cost-free and time-efficient. In these materials, you will learn more about behavior-specific praise, why it is effective, the research supporting the use of behavior-specific praise, the benefits and challenges, and how to evaluate treatment integrity and social validity.
Students need to know they are meeting your expectations for behavior. Using frequent specific positive feedback and formal acknowledgement systems for the whole class are essential tools for implementing this essential feature. These tools are built on the foundation of the positive relationships the teacher has established with all students. Among the most important practices an effective educator uses is letting students know about their behavioral and academic progress and/or success. Positive feedback is a powerful tool to encourage students to demonstrate responsible behavior regarding academic and/or behavioral performances at school. When done well and often, positive feedback confirms for students that he or she is on the right track and encourages the student to continue making responsible choices. First, teachers need to specifically describe the behavior. This helps students understand the exact behavior you want students to continue. Think of a videotape replay. We need simply to describe what we saw the student do and tie it to the classroom or school-wide expectations or character traits. The second important thing to remember is that to make positive feedback effective is to provide a rationale, which means explaining the reason why the behavior is important. Rationales or reasons teach the students the benefits of their behavior and the impact it has on them and others. This helps teach the benefits of the behavior and how it impacts them or others. See how this can help students become more intrinsically motivated? If you include the classroom or school-wide expectations or character trait, it provides consistent language for our kids. This is putting together the example feedback we just shared. This may seem lengthy and awkward at first, but with practice it will become more natural. See how specific this feedback is? There should be no doubt the student is told exactly what they did and why it was important. Take a moment to read through the examples given on the next two slides. Positive framing and narration increases positive behaviors and builds momentum. Commenting on the positive behaviors increases their use and makes the assumption that there will be more of them. It keeps things moving in the right direction because the teacher is narrating the evidence that that is so. It calls the attention to the fact that the students are doing what is being asked and normalizes it, makes it a part of the class culture. It increases engagement, especially when positive responses are caught early as they begin to break out. One way to increase these engagement behaviors is to teach them to students and then acknowledge student progress and success with them using positive feedback. Take a moment to read through these examples. In the first teacher's classroom, things appear to be moving in the right direction because the teacher narrates the evidence of his request, of students doing as they are asked, of things getting better. He calls his students' attention to this fact, thereby normalizing it. He is merely acknowledging or describing the positive behavior he is seeing. He wants them to know he is seeing it. If you are sitting in a classroom and seek, as most students do, to be normal, you would now know the sense of normalcy of positive, on-task behavior and will likely choose to do the same. The second teacher is telling a different story. Things are going wrong and getting worse. He's doing his best to call our attention to the normalcy of being ignored. The second teacher is narrating the negative and making them even more visible and prominent in shaping the student's view of what happens in the classroom. Scenario 2. In the first class, the teacher is not only narrating the positive, but building the momentum, causing students to look forward in anticipation to the next event in class. In the second class, there's only the sense of lack of action. Perception is often reality, and not only is this teacher narrating the negative, but the droning on only distances the students from where they are going. Another important point in building positive school-wide and classroom environments is to ensure that appropriate behavior receives much more attention than inappropriate behavior. Rivas, Jensen, Kukic, and Morgan recommend a ratio of 4:1, 4 comments in response to desired behavior to 1 response to student misbehavior. Interactions with students are considered positive or negative based on the behavior of the student at the time the attention is given, not the demeanor of the teacher. What the research says. Research has shown that teachers positively respond to student academic performance much more frequently than student social behavior. Typical teacher approval statements for academic responses far outweighed those for social behavior across all grade levels, with the highest rate for each type of approval occurring in the second grade and tapering off dramatically after that. In all grade levels, teachers responded to correct academic performance more frequently than disapprovals. On the other hand, statements of disapproval for social behavior were always more frequent than approvals. This attention to misbehavior inadvertently maintains or increases the misbehavior. The good news is we can change this to help us improve the learning environment and teach and support students' use of important social skills, which are important life skills. There are 4 important considerations for positive feedback. Ensuring that positive feedback is accurate, immediate, important, and 100% authentic. Feedback should be accurate and appropriate for the student's age. Giving sincere, accurate, and appropriate feedback to students' age is important for all students, but especially when working with older students. Make sure the feedback is accurate and credible, that is given for the behavior that has actually happened. Since students earn specific positive feedback and consequences, it is provided only when they have demonstrated the desired behavior. There are 3 major situations in which positive feedback may be especially beneficial. When an activity or a situation is new to the student, then he or she may be less likely to evaluate him or herself. In learning a new skill or behavior, the student needs to receive positive feedback from the teacher about what he or she did correctly. Any activity or situation that remains difficult for the student and requires effort to complete needs positive feedback from the teacher, even though the skill or behavior is not new to the student. Without positive feedback from the teacher, the student may be less likely to continue trying. Any positive comments received when students are proud of their effort or work are motivating to the student and can validate their perception of a job well done. Specific positive feedback is best when it follows closely to the behavior so that students can connect what they did with the feedback they are receiving. The younger the student, the more important this is. When students are learning new skills or are practicing skills in which they are not fluent, provide feedback on a regular schedule. This means that every time the student displays the desired behavior, they receive specific positive feedback. Once the skill or behavior has been learned, you can shift to using general praise or occasional use of specific positive feedback. This intermittent use of specific positive feedback helps to maintain the behavior. We must be careful not to omit all specific positive feedback, as students may not sustain the skills that they have learned. You will need to find your own style to communicate sincere care and concern for the student. Positive feedback should be given in a manner that fits your personal style. The teacher must behave in a way consistent with his or her own style: quiet, businesslike, celebratory, etc. Use of variety of phrases shows spontaneity and therefore credibility. Positive feedback has been proven to increase academic performance, increase on-task behavior, increase likelihood students will continue to use the desired behavior in the future, and help students discern correct or right responses from incorrect or wrong. At the conclusion of this video, download a reflection form that is most consistent with the area that you teach. For each time period, write a specific positive praise you used. Aim for one statement per time period. An example has been shown for you. When this is complete, please return the form to Dr. Levy's box.